It would start raining as soon as I turn the camera on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chilled Outdoors. I made a new investment, so I thought I'd share with you guys, and I figured I'd tell you how I fully intended to buy a Hoyt and how I ended up with a Bowtech. Let's get into it. So first off, to start, welcome. My name is Brad. If you're a new subscriber or if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for being here. If you're feeling so kind, you could subscribe. Drop a comment below. This goes for everybody. Drop a comment below of what your current bow setup is. And let me know if you had to go buy a brand new bow today, what would you buy? What do you think is the best on the market? I'm gonna tell you why I bought this Bowtech Solution SS. I'm gonna tell you why I did not walk out with a Hoyt Ventum. And we'll go through some of the stats, and I'll tell you a little bit about the bow. And then in a couple of weeks, I'll probably have another video of how I feel about it after a month of shooting it. So first, this is my old bow now. This is a Bowtech Diamond Rapture. This sucker's about 15 years old. You know, and last year, I killed a massive buck that we had started calling Burnt Chicken Nugget. Dropped him with a 308 because I missed him with my bow, and Joey missed him with his bow. So I was like, you know what? Either that deer was just really good at missing arrows, or it's my bow. Now, I'll even put in the footage right here. Luckily, it hurt my ego to miss the biggest buck I've ever had an opportunity at, but the good news, I guess good news about it was my limb hit the cable on my climber. So, you know, you can't help that stuff sometimes. It just is what it is. So this is what I shot for about 15 years. Killed my first buck with it, first deer with a bow. I killed several bucks with this deer, a lot of does. And man, I don't think I've changed anything on this setup in probably 8 to 10 years. This bow is just old. It was just old. I needed something new. So a lot of you guys wanted to see me buy a Hoyt Ventum, and a lot of you guys are shooting Hoyts. So I fully intended, you know, I thought in my mind, I should buy a Hoyt because a lot of people love them. Before I go any further, let me just say, I'm sure the Hoyt Ventum shoots just as good as the Bowtech Solution. They're both very high-end bows. You're talking $1,100, $1,200 bows. So I have no issues with the Hoyt Ventum, but let me tell you about this Bowtech Solution SS, and let me tell you why I ended up buying it. Let's start with the stats real quick. Let me just read the stats right off the website. Some of the most important stats, so that way, if you are on the fence, maybe you haven't heard these stats. Let me just go through them right now. Okay, so it's advertised as the smoothest drawing and shooting bow ever produced. Compact and maneuverable. It is shorter than my old Bowtech, and it's shorter than the Ventum, and it's starting to rain a lot harder. Oh my. Not cool. Oh my. That's some big old drops. All right, I think the rain slowed down enough where I can finish filming this because I still gotta work tonight, y'all. So, on to the stats real quick. So let me just read them straight off the website because I am not an archery expert. I'm just some guy who loves to bow hunt. So, the bow on the website, 4 pounds, draw length 25.5 to 31. I'll probably be right at 29.5. Draw weights are 50, 60, and 70, and they can typically be reduced by about 10 pounds according to the website. Let's see, speed, 332 feet per second. Now that's a little bit slower than the regular Solution, but this is a smaller bow. And I don't remember exactly how it works, but basically the way that they develop the cams and the very smooth draw kind of slows you down on your speed. But I'll tell you what, 332 feet per second is probably still 40 to 50 feet per second faster than that bow was shooting when it was brand new. So 332 feet per second is still really fast. I think the regular Solution bows are shooting 346. So 14 feet per second, 332 feet per second, just fine with me. Axle to axle is 30 inches. Now, like I said, this is actually shorter than that bow. The brace height is 7 inches for forgiveness. And then there are 7 reviews on the Bowtech website, all 5 out of 5. And every single one talks about how smooth it is. This guy said 3,000 shots through it, still very smooth. One guy complained about how long it took him to get the bow, but I'm pretty sure that's everybody right now. But then he said it was the smoothest bow he's ever shot, shoots like a rocket. Smoothest draw cycle you will ever feel. This guy says, my shoulders were having trouble with my old bow, and the SS has revitalized my shooting abilities at 61 years old. Things like that, okay? So, right off the website, a lot of good stuff. Now, one other thing about this bow that I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. I'm just a regular guy. but they have these deadlock technologies. Now, if you're big into tuning your bow, you can probably see how there's this space over here? If I start shooting this and my arrows are kicking out one way, or if I'm not tuned in 100%, I can change this on my own. Now, I probably won't. I'll take it to the place where I bought it and have old boy work on it, you feel me? By the way, it's Cutting Edge in Greensburg, Indiana, for my Indiana folks. This is where I got this bow, and I got the best customer service I think I've ever had in an archery shop. So shout out to Cutting Edge in Greensburg. Now, you can tune this bow. You can move this over yourself. You can also change, I forget how it goes. You can basically change the way that the cam operates. You can have it like to a performance setting or to a like smooth draw, heavy break setting, something to that effect. Now, let me talk about why I ended up going over this, other than some of the stats, right? So like, this is a shorter bow. It weighs a little bit less. The money was about the same. For the aluminum Ventum, I think was $1,100. This was $1,123 after tax, with no extras or anything. So $1,123 just for the bare bow. But one of the things, probably the biggest thing about this bow, it is smooth. When I drew it back, so if I'm drawing a bow in a hunting scenario, typically, right, it's gonna be straight back. I want to be smooth, I want to be clean, and I want as little motion in my body as possible. Of course, you know, when I was younger, I did the whole, yeah, right? Or like you see some people who draw like that, and that's fine. Whatever makes it easier for you to draw. But for me, you know, sometimes you have those trees that don't have a lot of cover. Sometimes your deer are super weary. Sometimes you got a doe 30 yards to your right and mama doe's watching you. So I want that draw to come straight back. Now the bow that I shot, this is a 70-pound bow. I shot a 60-pound Solution SS. I shot a 60-pound Solution, and I think I shot a 60-pound Ventum. On those Solutions and the Solution SS, I was able to get right to here so smooth. Minimal movement, no strain. With the Hoyt, it felt a little bit more difficult, and the way that the bow sits in my hand was a little bit different, which I felt like made it a little bit harder. Now, what do I mean by that? When I hold this bow out, look, I am not gripping it. Look how it stays straight up and down. I love that. With the Ventum, I couldn't hold it like this without gripping it. It would like fall way forward. Look, I'm trying to tilt this one forward and it wants to stand up straight for me. I like that. Now, I don't know the exact science behind the physics of holding a bow and the string release and all that stuff, but when I'm holding this out here, and when I was shooting at the range, at the archery shop, when I would let go, the bow would stay exactly like this. With the Ventum, you know, it's like falling forward, things like that, and I know that's normal because of the weight of the bow, but in my opinion, I love that this thing sits so straight. I love that. It wants to stay so straight up and down, and I love that. Maybe that's wrong. You can comment below if you think I'm a total idiot, but I love it for that. The other reason I went with this is, you know, I walked in the shop and I straight up told the guy, I said, hey, I'm here to buy a Hoyt Ventum, or whatever I buy, right? I was pretty open-minded, but I told him, like, I'm here to spend $1,200-ish. I want a new bow. And he goes, well, we have some Ventums, and he let me shoot them, let me feel them, and he goes, have you shot the Bowtechs? And I go, well, that's actually what I shoot now. And he goes, well, I'll tell you this. He goes, I shoot a Bowtech and a PSE. And I was like, well, I just got a lot of people who recommended Hoyt. And he goes, sure, Hoyt has a lot of fans. A lot of people like Hoyt. He goes, but why don't you shoot the Bowtech? And that's when I really realized, like, oh, wow, there's a big difference. Like I said, I mean, I was changed. My mind changed in a split second. Like, I went in there fully intending to buy a Hoyt Ventum. And the reason I went to that shop is because a buddy of mine said, yeah, they got a ton of Ventums in. And I thought, oh, man, I'm like, I'm going to get my color I want. I'm going to get the weight I want. And then next thing you know, I'm like dead set on this solution. And like I've said, I'm just some guy on YouTube who loves to kill deer. If you have any issues with anything I've said in this video, drop a comment below. Those are just the reasons why I bought this bow. Give me about a week and I'll get this thing outfitted. I'll take it back in there to him and have a bunch of stuff put on. I didn't have time that day. And then I'm gonna start getting some shots downrange. And hopefully in about 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'll have another video for you of everything I put on here, how I like the equipment, and how the bow shoots for me. I have no doubt in my mind that it'll work great. The rest is all on me. We know the bow is gonna perform. It's all gonna be on me, but thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Oh, and of course, I went with this OD green because I thought, you know, I think sometimes some of the camos are so like overplayed and cliche. Kind of thought the OD green was really cool. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like the OD green? You like the solid pattern, or you know, should I get it wrapped? I think I like the OD. I think I just like it plain. I got to get this set up. I got to get this ready to go. Comment your favorite sights and rests, and also I think I'm gonna go to the thumb button. What do you think? Should I do it? Should I not? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Peace.